Welcome members to another weekly market update. Sunday 8th of October, after market closed on 6th of October. As always, please check the other video. We talk about the overall market trend, short and long term. So let's check in on some more specific things here. I'm looking over my shoulder, thinking aloud. Some trades I've got going, things I'm looking at. First of all, just what's going on with everything. Everything's about the dollar in terms of, a lot of things really, from currencies, commodities, and, gold. We're looking at gold. And remember, every currency is pegged against the dollar. So the euro, the pound, all of them, everything is against the dollar. So when the dollar's going down, everything else should be going up, just at different rates. That's basically Forex trading. So it's important to keep an eye on the dollar, what's going on with it. And here's the weekly chart of that. What's been pushing everything higher has been this quite rapid and severe downtrend in the dollar, and it got oversold, and everything eventually reverts to the mean, quite literally in the case of a chart, because there's the mean right there, there's the average, and it's only natural that things they can't go on at that pace forever, and they snap back, and that's what's happened. But there's no getting away from the fact. What's interesting is that this is just a absolutely really nasty chart with the moving average, the 40-week pointing down like that, crossing over the 70-week. That's a very bad. So this is an opportunity this comes back, and eventually it turns around. This is going to be a great shorting opportunity or buying opportunity for other currencies. Look what's happened as you see how the rally goes up, the volume goes down, and that's again that's a bearish sign. What's going on with the fundamentals here is that, as I mentioned last week, everybody and the Fed included seem to be making these noises, and it's I think it's going to be a nonsense. They're saying that we're going to raise rates, and so on. That's what's sending the dollar higher. I don't think that they will. I think December's going to be a big shock, and I think it's going to be a big trading opportunity. I don't think the market's going to see the rate rises that they're expecting, if at all. And that's going to send the dollar south and the gold up and all kinds of things. So we'll be keeping an eye on that closer to the time. But that's the picture shaping up right now. Let's look at some open trades. Tile. I got in around here, as you know, as it kissed this 200-day in really beautiful fashion. Got in anywhere around there. I kept on about that one for weeks. Up she goes in steps. 1, 2. If we can hang on around, base around there, that'll be nice, healthy action. I'll just let that one ride. Good action there. Liking this next step as well. Nice action on Friday, up there, going SV60 again up there. Nice looking pattern. And look at how when we have the selling, the volume drops. So that's a good sign. We have Pico. I think I mentioned this last week. Beautiful action this week. Couldn't have said any better, really. There it goes. And as I say, I was in anywhere around here. The same sort of pattern, just a nice line of support on a collision course with an upwards moving average, up on high volume. And let that one ride. If we could just hold that little box around there, that'll be fine. Should go higher. And ANSS. Talk to you about that one. And there was the line of support. Wanted to get anywhere around there, and I said it was nice. It was already started up, so I was happy to get it around there. And up she goes. Beautiful, excellent. I had some great action this week with the open trades. Another one I'm looking at, although I am worried about. Hang on a minute. Let me just look at gold. GDX. Remember, GDX is the chart I'm looking at. Nugget is just a 3 times leverage version of that. It's been a bit of a pain again because the dollar correcting, but look how it's held the 200-day. That's really my focus right now. I'm not giving up on this one just yet. It's held it, and look at the action on Friday. Heavy, volume came in, it closed at the top of its range. Could get back on track there. And let's look at the weekly chart here. And the weekly chart is sort of held above that. I'm just going by that. If it can just hold that, try and hang in there on that one. That's that. Let's also look at a new one I'm looking at. Bearing in mind that this market is going to swing around at some point. At least it's just overbought right now. But this is a really nice looking chart, and about 68 there. You can see on the weekly chart something like 67, 68. Exactly the sort of thing I look for. You got nice sideways action there. Good support taking shape on this, on a collision course with a rapidly rising 40 week. Let's look at the daily chart of W. There's that line. Notice how the weekly and daily charts, the support lines can be different. But we saw on the weekly it was like 67, 68. We see here it's kind of similar sort of thing around this sort of zone here. Remember, it doesn't have to be a fine razor sharp line. It could be a zone of support. It's kind of somewhere around there. And it looks like we could be, coming back into that range. There's the weekly chart. Yeah, I think something that's the 66 to 68 zone, somewhere like that would be nice. If the market kind of cools off a little, it comes back down to earth. Maybe that's somewhere like that. It's a good little place to enter with a tight stop loss, just below that line. I think the weekly chart is much cleaner than the daily, so that's really what the thing is to go by. I think that's pretty close to a good entry point right now. So I will speak to you next time. Anyone who's looking at the rogue trades, the season is really well and truly underway this week. You're going to get a few in the week or two before, but this week is when it's really going to get into the thick of it. Had questions about the system. The system's all explained. If you went to this seminar or watch the DVDs, it's all on there. Happy to help wherever though. And if you're really stuck, of course, there's the Wall Street Informer service where they just do it all for you and send you the pics. So if you're unsure about any of that, let me know and I can give you a link. So otherwise, I will speak to you next week.